Watching about 10 minutes ago and just saw me here, but no sound. I was like signaling, all right, time's clicking by here. Had to wait for the software to get going, and now we've got the YouTube stream up as well. Setup is it's going to be active here this afternoon. This evening, it's more thunderstorms farther east, like out into Texoma and the Big Country. We know, obviously, it being Friday, you may be headed to a football game, maybe headed traveling somewhere around the region. If you want to post the comments here, I'll check them on Facebook and on YouTube. Also saw, hi Jameson, saw him like the Facebook link right here. But the setup is going to be, we've got this severe thunderstorm watch in place now. You can see around Lubbock, it's just kind of a cloudy, dreary day. Take a live look from 56th and Avenue A, and just lots of cloud cover out there right now. Temperature has dropped off a bit now from 98th and University, looking back to the southwest. Our primary focus, and we do have this severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Plainview, Lubbock, Levelland, Plains, Seminole, and then points east. The watch means there's the potential for severe weather. It's not that everyone in the watch area will see a severe storm, but it's issued, meaning there's that possibility for a storm to produce 1-inch hail or a 60-mile-per-hour wind. Those are the criteria for a severe thunderstorm watch or severe thunderstorm warning to be issued. Understand, lightning is not criteria for a severe warning. Lightning is deadly, though, and especially this time of year. I know we had multiple lightning delays for Texas Tech football earlier this year, and it's just how you have to play it safe because of that deadly threat of lightning. So that's why, like high school games, the stadiums are all set up well, where you've got those lightning detectors at pretty much all of the stadiums across the area. That's because that's dangerous. So warnings are not going to be issued based on lightning. You'll get the game called because of lightning, but the reason that we have a watch in place, and it does include, saw the question here, goes west to Levelland. It does include Levelland, Lubbock, Plainview. That's the potential for severe weather. So now that we have some folks here in the live stream, we'll go through the severe weather explanation here and what we're looking at here for this afternoon. And you may be thinking, okay, we're talking about this in October. Is that something we see? Yeah, usually our peak severe weather season is April, May, June. And goodness, did we see a peak this year. This was an incredibly active spring. But we usually will see some severe weather into the fall as well. Strongest storms that I see right now, strongest kind of cluster of thunderstorms in western Kent County. As you go east from Post 380, it's now into western Kent County. Not severe at the moment, but that is at least the strongest storm that I see within our area. That may skirt just south of Spur and more so go toward Girard. Everything today is going to move from southwest to northeast, or maybe a little bit more east-northeast. Around Lubbock, we're in the clear right now. We're just now expecting storm development, and this should be continuing here. Probably next hour or two is when we expect things to really kind of get going. And again, the watch goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Going farther south, there has been more intense development down in the Permian Basin, and you can see the first severe thunderstorm warning that does include Midland right now. We'll go in a little bit closer look on this thunderstorm, kind of a complex of thunderstorms. It's pushing up from Odessa toward Midland, so that's about to move into Midland itself right now. Let's check the timing on that warning. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, goes until 1:45 for western Glasscock, northeastern Ector, southeastern Andrews, and northern Midland counties, also southwestern Martin County. And that's a storm for 60-mile-per-hour wind and 1-inch hail potential for that. So the initial development is down there to the south. Setting the stage for what we have out here, let me give you a broader perspective and kind of explain first how all of this is developing and what we're going to expect as we go through this afternoon. Let me find the satellite and radar real quick. Here we go. So backing this out across the region, we've got the storm system itself that we're watching is out across northern New Mexico, dropping down this direction. And so the setup for us today is that storm system still out to the west. That's going to provide the lift for showers and thunderstorms as we go into this afternoon. Really over the next few hours is what we expect with that upper level storm system. So it provides the lift in the atmosphere. The next piece of energy is going to move across here through this afternoon. You can see what it's doing farther south. It's also warmer and some of the dynamics are better a little bit farther south, but down along I-10 and I-20, that's where the initial development is. But we think at least there will be enough lift across our area for storm development back here. Now, we always stress when a watch is issued, not everyone in the watch is going to see severe weather, not necessarily everyone in even a county. I will say the greatest severe weather risk it looks like will be over the southern and southeastern part of our area here this afternoon. In fact, let me show you what the temperature looks like right now. Area-wide, it's actually fairly cool. 60s and 70s here. Contrast that with farther south in parts of the Permian Basin, Contra Valley. They're in the upper 70s. So I think there's more energy down there, but still the watch was warranted here because we have enough strong lift. You may say 72 outside right now, 67 at Plainview. Doesn't seem all that warm when I compare that to, like back in May or June when we were dealing with that severe weather. What's up, Aubrey? Sure. What do we have right now out there?
There's a possible crash.
Let's see.
Are you live right now?
Yes, live right now.
Okay, on the scanner and with LFR, we've heard of a possible aircraft collision somewhere.
Cool.
Crash
It's
somewhere?
not cool, but I'll
Yeah.
grab the info on which direction.
Yes, that's what.
All right, so just wanted to quickly check, trying to track down some info on scanner traffic as well, but nonetheless, you can see the cloudy setup here. So going back to the explanation I was mentioning here, you may say, in June it was a lot warmer. It was up into the 80s. Everything in weather is relative. So even though it's fairly cool here at the surface, aloft, pretty good bit of colder air with this disturbances passing overhead. So that promotes storms going up and storm development. That's why it can be cool like it is out there and still see thunderstorm developments. Let me show you what the forecast model has through this afternoon. Things are just starting to develop now. We think it's going to be probably about 2, 3 o'clock. It's 1:30 right now. Probably about 2, 3 o'clock is when we'll see storm development a little bit farther out to the west. So you can see this moves it ahead to about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And this is forecast guidance, so don't take it as, it's going to be exactly like this. But this gives you the idea that probably somewhere over the western or central South Plains, we'll have thunderstorms 3 to 4 o'clock. Then we'll move this ahead a little bit later by 5, 6 o'clock. And actually it shows by 7, thunderstorms moving farther east. And that tells us that there's a possibility for football games on the South Plains that things will be okay compared to, if we were expecting a line of storms to roll through later on tonight. Not saying every game is going to be just fine. It could be you have some very wet fields east of Lubbock, but that's what at least this computer model is showing. Let me show you another rapid update model that when I show it here, it tends to a little bit overdo kind of at least the scale of the storms here, but we still use this for the timing of storm development. And you can see this is given a similar idea that it's probably about 4, 5 o'clock right there. It's showing it somewhere over the central South Plains, closer to Lubbock, and then farther east by 7, 8 o'clock. This actually holds on to it over the rolling plains a little bit later. That's why I'm saying you're not clear out to the east over the rolling plains, but nonetheless something that we'll be keeping an eye on for areas east of Lubbock. That's why this severe thunderstorm watch goes until 7 o'clock this evening, because it's this afternoon the primary focus for storm development on the Cap Rock. Farther east, like toward Wichita Falls, east of Guthrie, Haskell, Albany, Cisco, Abilene, down that direction. I think it's more this evening with the storm development. Let's go back to what the radar, the current perspective is. I want to show you where storms are right now. And again, no severe warnings in our area, but strongest, most intense storm is actually weakened just a little bit. Claremont is listed on the map, you know, the intersection right there of right along 380 and 70. 70, right? 208, my bad. Kind of a strong core right here, just north of 380, but not severe at the moment. Note, this is a sign of, you know, there being a little bit more lift out there. The fact that we, over the past hour, have seen development like near Post, and that has moved on off to the northeast, starting to see a little bit more development near White River Lake. And even a few showers indicated, maybe very light showers here across Terry County. So none of this is severe around the South Plains. The one severe warning is that yellow box you see down for Odessa and Midland, eastern side of Odessa toward Midland. But around the South Plains, you can see it's a quieter picture right now. Looking around the area, it's cloudy, and we don't expect the temperature to move all that much. Spots that do get a little bit of sunshine will push upper 70s, but right now we've generally got low 70s with all of the cloud cover that is in place. So here's the next perspective from 56th and Avenue A. Let me see some of the other questions talking about right here, back and forth. Yeah, nobody, that's funny, Jesse. Yeah, no one needs to worry about taking any cover right now. We just have some showers, thunderstorms, some gusty wind across our area. And that's the setup. You know, this is not any like high-end major severe weather setup. This is not something that we've not experienced, especially if you go back just over the past few months here from the really active severe weather that we saw earlier this year. But just wanted to give you the heads up with so many activities. Football games later on this evening, but even things happening across the area this afternoon. And of course, getting to those football games, it takes a while to get there. So some of those departures happen, you know, mid-afternoon, depending on where you're going all across the region. I would have to remember, load up the sousaphone, make sure it is where it needs to be in that trailer to make sure when I arrive there, my tuba was ready, my sousaphone was ready with the band. So we know all that stuff and what you may have forgotten to pack up. Also had the recurring dream, actually long after I was done playing basketball in high school, of getting to the road location, getting to the gym and packing the wrong color, packing a white home jersey instead of a blue road jersey. So we know all the high schoolers worried about making sure they have everything packed. Don't want to have to worry about, you know, what the weather's going to do out there. But we do have this severe thunderstorm watch until 7 o'clock this evening. So that will be a factor for those heading off to football games, driving through this afternoon, that you'll need to be aware of where the storms are. We expect the storm development now, between now and about 4 o'clock. Right before I end this stream, I want to show you. First, we'll look one more look at the computer model, and then one more quick pick at what the radar is doing right now. But we expect now through mid-afternoon is when storms will develop. Here's one of the computer models that we use that shows this is at 2 o'clock, and always a good way to, you know, compare how well is this model performing. Every model is wrong. I want to stress that. Every model is wrong. It's our job to figure out which ones are not as wrong as the other ones. We're trying to look into the future. So that's the current, or the 2 o'clock projection for radar, and then we can look at what does the radar look like right now, 140. It'll be similar to what the radar should look like. It's actually doing an okay job. Let me get the map perspective kind of the same. See how it's got thunderstorms down toward Jayton, toward Lamesa, and then we look at the computer model at 2 o'clock, and it's saying some storms near Jayton toward Guthrie. It's a little bit farther east than Lamesa. So that's a good way to gauge, at least starting out, is this model doing well? Sometimes, you know, you can just look at a computer model, and it's got all kind, you know, maybe it's a ton of snow out there that's moving in, and the current perspective, well, it's off by 20 degrees to start. So we want to see how it's initializing to see how reliable it is for something to actually believe. So I think it's doing a decent job with what the current environment is. And this shows between about 3, 4 o'clock storms developing over the central South Plains, and then this pushes it farther east by about 6, 7 o'clock. That's the general idea through this afternoon. We still could have some storms lingering east tonight. Now, what about tomorrow? Got the cowpokes in town. On the backside of this storm system, there could be some wraparound rainfall earlier in the day, early tomorrow morning, maybe even an isolated storm through the morning hours, but I think that's going to push farther east, and you can see backing this up to a kickoff time, 3 o'clock. It just has a few passing clouds. I think the rain should be east of us, so it's just a slight chance for any rain during the Tech game tomorrow. The Red Raider Outfitter game day forecast has in the morning development here of maybe a stray shower, about 60 at 11 a.m. We'll have clouds early, a little bit more sun to the afternoon. Kickoff at about 70, and that's what we're expecting for tomorrow afternoon. Low 70s for the high, so it's not really going to warm up all that much, but actually it'll just be a couple degrees below average for this time of year. Kickoff around 70. The rain chance trends lower through the game. Sun goes down just after 7 o'clock tomorrow. By the end of the game, temperature in the mid-60s. My wife was mentioning, and I agreed yesterday, it seems like we just had those 8 o'clock sunsets, and it seems like we have raced through this month to where sunset now is at 7 o'clock, and then daylight saving time will come to an end, and then we'll move our clocks an hour the other way. Can't really say the sunsets come earlier. We adjust our time to those sunsets, but at least we'll have more sunlight in the morning. So that's what the projection for tomorrow looks like. Let's go back to the current outlook and show you that we do have showers and thunderstorms over the southeastern part of our area are most intense at this point. And these are some pretty efficient rain producers. Let me look at what we've got so far on the Texas Tech West Texas Mesonet. And just in the last hour, 2/100ths of an inch at Jayton, 4/100ths of an inch at Tahoka. So and actually the heavier rain here is going to pass north of Jayton. It's going to be more towards Spur and toward Girard. Actually pretty good downpour on top of Dickens right now. I'll add the lightning. We usually drop that so it's not too much information all at once kind of cluttering the screen. But you can see a good number of lightning strikes there in Kent County lifting into Dickens County. Around Lubbock, we are quiet here right now. I saw the comment earlier just because of, what the forecast model was showing for Lamesa. And RJ had asked, is Lamesa going to get hit pretty good? That's just where that particular computer model showed that one storm development. It could be north of you, south of you, but yes, you could have a severe storm move through Lamesa here a little bit later on this afternoon. This is not a severe storm at its current time. Just to the east of Lamesa. Probably a pretty loud storm, good number of lightning strikes there, but again, no current warnings for our area. And at this point, looks like we're really just getting some heavy rainfall and some small hail with the storms out there. That's actually good news because we would like to see at this potential, it could actually be helpful to have a good number of showers and thunderstorms so that it limits the instability available for thunderstorms later on today. So near Lamesa and also near Jayton, those are the two areas right now we're watching more intense thunderstorms. Let me pull up some new information coming in from the Storm Prediction Center. I want to see where they're also looking. There's a potential for a watch north of this one. Storm Prediction Center gives a 40% chance for severe thunderstorm watch to be issued farther north. Keep in mind the current watch extends up to Plainview, then up to Turkey, Childress, Silverton. Does not go farther north from there, but it's not as likely to see storm development farther north, but this is the area in the eastern Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma where there could be another watch that gets issued. In fact, let me show that highlight here. There it is right there from the Storm Prediction Center where another watch could be issued. Like I mentioned earlier, it does appear that the greater dynamics, greater energy is actually south and east of Lubbock, where it looks like more widespread, more intense storms will be from like Midland toward Abilene, Wichita Falls, down towards San Angelo as well. So before I wrap this live stream up here on Facebook and on YouTube, KCBD.com, Talon just asked here, are we not going to see severe weather here in Lubbock? We don't know yet. There's still the possibility. I'm not saying like we are not going to see a severe storm here, because we could. That's why we're in the watch until 7 o'clock. We have the potential for a severe storm to move through here later on today. It looks like it'll be most widespread farther south and east, but we're included in the watch because we have the ingredients in place for us to see some severe weather here late this afternoon into this evening. The watch goes until 7 o'clock. Really, that's going to be areas east of Lubbock, I think. By 7, I think it would probably be east of us here. So in Lubbock, we're probably going to watch about 3, 4, 5 p.m. for that potential of storm development and potential severe storm development. Let me bring this back to the current perspective to show you what the radar has and show that we're clear here now. We're not in the clear for today, but we just have clouds outside. And like I mentioned earlier, a good factor in that we have just so much cloud cover out there. This is 56th and Avenue A, now looking from 98th and University back to the southwest. All this cloud cover is limiting the instability some. So we will be watching for areas that maybe could see a little bit more instability and be a little bit warmer to have that instability for showers and storms. But actually on the South Plains, we've got 60s and 70s most spots. Eastern South Plains are in the mid-70s. It's a lot warmer at San Angelo. It's 80 there right now. Abilene at 71, 74. Wichita Falls is in the mid-70s. And you look at the visible satellite. This shows where the cloud cover is present. It's going to take a minute here for the visible satellite to load. And you can see we're blanketed in the cloud cover here. So that should keep the temperature down, which could limit our severe potential, whereas they do not have the widespread cloud cover. It's moving in now, but they've not had it all day down at like San Angelo, so it's been warmer down that direction. Let me grab one other piece of information here. You can see another severe warning's actually been issued down there just north of I-20, about a little bit west of Sonora. That's just west of Ozona near Ira Ann, and seeing down toward Big Lake down that direction. So that's where the initial severe storms have been this afternoon. This is an intense storm. If you're in eastern Dawson County, more intense thunderstorm right there moving toward gale. More than anything, a whole lot of heavy rainfall, and actually 2 clusters right there on the Borden and then on the Dawson County side of things. So that is not severe at this point. Hail indications are not all that great. Waiting for the hail tracker to load here. It's going to take just a minute to pull this new round of data in. I'll allow it to refresh here. It may take just a minute, but have not seen any large hail indications here. And actually, it is actually showing the data. Even for this thunderstorm, this may be more of a wind threat because this is looking at the hail tracker down for that severe storm. It's not showing much either. Now, where we are seeing a little bit of the larger hail indications down, passing through Ira Ann right now and about to move just north of Ozona. So we're not seeing any large hail indications here. Just like I mentioned earlier that, everything in weather is relative. We need a lot of warm, unstable air here at the surface in May and June to get those strong uplifts to really take the water up, freeze it, get those hailstones to form. You don't have to go as high up when it's cooler here. The freezing level is down closer to the ground. So we go kind of on opposite things here. It doesn't have to be as warm as at the ground to send that hail vertically because the freezing layer is a little bit closer to the ground. And freezing layer is what generally is the widely used term, although one of the greatest meteorologists, researchers around who actually passed in the past year, Dr. Chuck Doswell, once saw him, and he was great at going on just rants and telling other things because he did know it. He knew it all. He was excellent at it, and just an incredible mind. Point out it's the melting layer, not the freezing layer, because water will not always freeze 32 or below. It will always melt above. The reason it won't always freeze needs a nuclei to form on, and that was one of those just mind-blowing things when I think I was still in college when I heard him give that explanation and was like, okay, sir, that is actually a great way to put it there. So it is called the freezing layer, but this time of year when it's not as hot, it's closer to the ground, so you don't have to get quite as big of a thunderstorm for hail to form. And we really see that when it's, like 40 degrees outside and we barely get a thunderstorm and it's not actually sleet but tiny hailstones. Now could be grapple, but when it is actually hail, you don't have to send it up very high to get hail. So this time you don't need a huge thunderstorm to get hail, but nonetheless, just a bunch of random jargon there to talk about. We could have some hail through this afternoon. That's why the watch has been posted. If you are in post right now, you can see that thunderstorm's rolling in, but it is not severe. Daniel mentioning down in Snyder, you've got the rain there. That's also not a severe storm at the moment. In fact, it looks pretty good, just kind of a scattered shower moving through Snyder right now. Had the question here about Acuff. If we do get a thunderstorm in toward Acuff and eastern parts of the county, we'd be looking here at maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock. And we'll have a pretty good heads up. In fact, you can see there is new development now forming near Ropesville, Meta, New Home. So that'd be on its current track, unless it really strengthens. Maybe a shower here 30, 45 minutes away in Acuff, Roosevelt, in Lubbock. That's nothing intense. And even the intense storms right now are not severe. So just want to give you all an update here. John is going through some of the new information right now, and actually just walking in has been putting the forecast together for this afternoon as far as what we'll expect through the next few hours. Again, the recap here is the severe thunderstorm watch that goes here until 7 o'clock tonight for Lubbock and the South Plains. That does not mean that everyone in the watch area will see a severe storm, but you'll need to be watching out for the potential for some severe weather as we go through this afternoon. Hail and strong wind will be the primary risks with storms. Again, we think more widespread coverage of storms will be farther south and east of our area, and farther east will be affecting football games tonight. For us, it's primarily this afternoon. So we'll keep the live stream going here. And if you're reading this at KCBD, going to be reading the story, watching the video here at kcbd.com. We'll keep the live stream at the top of the page with the radar, and any warnings that pop up, you'll see those. If need be, we'll be on TV through this afternoon. Of course, John will have next update coming up here at 4 o'clock, so we'll be watching that through this afternoon. We'll end the stream here for the moment on YouTube and Facebook, but if things get more active, we'll start those streams back up as well. So thanks for joining us here from the First Alert Forecast Center. For John, Steve, I'm Matt. We'll be watching it here through this afternoon. Hope you have a great afternoon, great day, and provided the weather doesn't get too active, our next stream will be coming up here in the 3 o'clock hour. Andrew and Bobby will be going over all the high school games tonight, and hopefully won't have too many disruptions, but we just kind of roll with the punches when the weather delays happen for those football games. But we'll be watching that through this afternoon. Hope you have a great rest of the day.